Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about cultural exploration and cultural observation as accomplished through Dungeons and Dragons through the lens of Nick Offerman and Jacob Tremblay's new film Sovereign. All right, let's jump into this. So I'm a huge fan of Nick Offerman. You probably know Nick Offerman as Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreation. That is by far his breakout role. Since then, since he left that, he's had a tremendous career. But he's had a tremendous career playing conservatives, right? So Ron Swanson is the most favorite Republican on the internet because of all these amazing clips of him saying awesome Republican things in extremely winsome ways, right? So Nick Offerman has played a Republican better than anyone has ever played a Republican. He's played Republican presidents. He's played Republican generals. He's played Republican everything, right? And now with this Sovereign film. So what is Sovereign? Let's talk about that for a minute. Oh wow, that's a Shelby Cobra. Wow. Actually, that's probably a kit car. I don't know. It's very nice though. All right, so basically, he's in this role Sovereign. So I learned about this movie. I watched a full spoiler review of the film, so I know everything that happens in the film, but I haven't been able to see it, and I probably won't be able to see it. And the reason why is after I got done watching the review, I immediately went to get tickets, and I couldn't find it playing anywhere. It's an extremely small independent film. And it is about sovereign citizens. Do you know what sovereign citizens is? This is fascinating. Listen to this. So you can hear that Shelby Cobra. So sovereign citizens are people who don't recognize society's right to have a government, right? They don't want any responsibilities to any other human being. They don't want to pay taxes. They want to be able to take land wherever they find land. They don't want to pay anyone. They don't want to have any societal responsibilities. They think that each person should be a sovereign person, and that they don't want any responsibility, and they don't want any government, right? Now, they're not anarchists. That's different, right? They don't want anarchy. They're just saying, hey, all that matters is what you can take by your own strength and what you can preserve by your own strength. It's very distinct. It's a very unique view, right? And what I'm interested in is, why did Nick Offerman take this role? So first of all, sovereign citizens are Republicans on steroids. Republicans believe in government, right? And they simply want to keep government small and keep the effects of it limited, right? But sovereign citizens want the effects of government to be zero. They don't want any government. They don't want anyone to tell them to do anything, ever, right? And they don't want any responsibility to any other human being on the planet to weigh upon them, which is really interesting. So what I think is interesting is, why did Nick Offerman take this role? So first of all, I won't even be able to see this movie because it's so small. It won't come to a Regal where I have my movie pass, right? Or I haven't found it. It might come later, but I've never had trouble finding a film, right, with this Regal pass. But this one, I could not see any tickets or any show times, right? So this thing is very, very small. And so Nick Offerman, he was just in literally Mission Impossible, so he can get roles. So why did he take this? And I think the reason why is this is cultural exploration and cultural observation. I think Nick Offerman is in this incredibly unique role. Now, Nick Offerman plays Republicans, but he's not a Republican. He is a dyed-in-the-wool, marinated liberal. He is a full Hollywood actor. He doesn't believe anything he portrays, which means he's a phenomenal actor, right? He plays Republican extremely well, even though he doesn't believe in any Republican tenets, right? And what's wild is, if you don't know him, you think that he acts so well, you think that he agrees with you, right? And I think what's happened is, this is a capybara in the zoo situation, right? Humans come, I think he's coming along and he's observing Republicans. And I think in order to have done his job as well as he had to very carefully observe Republicans and then learn how to do them and be them, right? And I think this observation has gone to the maximum lengths with Nick Offerman. And I think he was drawn to this sovereign role because he's like, oh, that's a Republican on steroids. I definitely want to play that. I want to go the full distance, right? Which is really, really fascinating. He's like, I want to make it all the way there, you know, like, and I think he's doing this out of observation and out of, really out of observation, right? Like just, he's like, hey, I'm going to do this because this is part of my milieu. I play Republicans and I want to go all the way. And so this is cultural observation. Now, how does this link to Dungeons and Dragons? So I think we can do the same thing. We can learn about people who we are not. We can invest ourselves in them. We can literally dive into these identities and live in them, right? And then with Dungeons and Dragons, there can be no limit to how far we take this. And that's what you're seeing with Nick Offerman's Sovereign movie. He's removing the limits, right? He's like, I don't want to just play a staunch Republican. I want to play the most powerful Republican that exists, right? A sovereign citizen, taking it to the full length of conservatism, right? To the point of like not small government, but zero government. And I think Dungeons and Dragons allows us to do the same thing. It allows us to do cultural exploration, cultural observation. We could play different genders. We could play people of different preferences. We could play people of different intelligences. We could play people who are smarter than us, who are not as smart as us. We can play people who might be able to emote in ways that we can't emote. We could play wise people when we are ignorant, right? We could play a person who's wise when we're a fool. We could play a person who's a fool when we are actually wise, right? And just like Nick Offerman is getting this view, like, viewing a capybara in a zoo, right? This, glass window, perfect view of what these people are like. We get a full immersion in Dungeons and Dragons. And Dungeons and Dragons can allow cultural exploration and cultural observation in ways that nothing humanity has ever built can, because Gary Gygax brought it on Thursday, February 7th, 1974 to the world. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.